Okay, so we have question 10. It is about a tutorial with a small green plant. Okay, so some description on this plant, right? They say the pigment can be separated by chromatography. They want you, the first part, to describe how chromatography can be used to separate different pigments. So any 2 points will do. You just need to tell them, okay, so how do you put the chromatography paper in the solvent? So solvent you can use ethanol or water. Then you put a spot of the sample on the start line or the origin. Okay, you draw the origin start line using pencil, yeah, so that you don't introduce any dyes and any pigments unwittingly. So you allow them to separate as they move up the paper. All right, so any 2 points will be good to score these 2 marks. What is meant by the retention factor value? So this means that it is the ratio, right, of the distance traveled by the sample to the distance traveled by the solvent. So you can have this paper, right, and then this is the start line. You can dip this, and then as the pigments move up, right, some will have a more intermolecular attraction to the paper, and then some will be less attracted to the paper. So it will move with the solvent higher up the paper. Okay, this is the way that the pigments are being separated. Okay, some plates contain a poisonous chemical X. What can be deduced about X from each of the following 3 pieces of information? Okay, so when X is warm with acidified potassium manganate, the solution changes from purple to colorless. So oxidation has taken place, because you should know that potassium manganate is an oxidizing agent. Okay, so if a redox reaction has taken place, this tells you that X is a reducing agent. Okay, so the same concentration of solution X, right, have a pH of 3, whereas HCl have a pH of 1. Okay, so this means that it doesn't dissociate the H plus completely, which also means that it is a weak acid. Okay, the last point is on QA. When a few drops of sodium hydroxide is added, a brown PPT is observed. This tells you there is a Fe3 plus ions present. All right, so you can look it up in your data booklet. That also tells you what is the cation that is present. Okay, so they say 10 grams of chemical X show that it contains all these amounts, mass of carbon and hydrogen, and the remaining being oxygen. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you just need to get the mass of oxygen first, and then go and divide all of them by their AR to get the number of moles, and then divide by the lowest common factor. All right, so you got a ratio 1:1:2, and that is your empirical formula. Okay, CHO2. Okay, then they tell you, given that the relative molecular mass is 90, what is the molecular formula? Okay, so CHO2, right, the MR is 45, and if they tell you the relative molecular mass is 90, right, for the compound itself, what is the molecular formula? Okay, so you just need to divide 90 by 45, you get n equals to 2, and you just multiply across the empirical formula, you will get your molecular formula.